Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing? Come on in, have a seat. The room is large. There's a few refreshments in the back if you get here early enough. We have a few people that hog the donuts back there in the back of the room. Be nice. Come on in, everybody. How you doing? Come on in. Hope everybody's doing okay. This is the Breakfast Buzz for August 27th, 2020. Come on in. We're going to talk some comics. We're going to drink some coffee. We're going to try to wake up, or one of our guests is getting ready for bed. So we'll see how that goes. Everybody, all of your mics are live, so you can pipe in. You don't have to just let me talk. So Marvy is in the house. Says, hello, everybody. I'm not working today because it's my wife's birthday. Linda says hi. We'll tell her.
Happy birthday.
We wish her happy birthday, Marv. Hope you're doing well.
Happy birthday from the land down under.
There we are. Marvy is on the coast of Portugal.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I'd give anything to see a beach at the moment.
Ralph says, looking at that coffee. You always look at that coffee first thing in the morning. There we go. Glenn Ford says, hey, Randy. Hey, Glenn, how you doing? We have some special guests today. Varian, unfortunately, will not be with us. He is not in the house today. He has a doctor's appointment this morning. We wish him well. We hope he's doing all right. Mm-hmm. We have the link out to a few other friends, and maybe we'll be joined with. I have Rob Anderson in the house, Daphne Lage, and Sean Keenan, as well as a special guest. Here, if we can
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Hopefully we'll keep you awake long enough to get through the show. We're not going to bore you, I hope. Let's see. Yeah, Glenn Ford says happy birthday to Marvy's wife. Absolutely. Linda's been in the chat before. So, Marv, anytime you want to send us some pictures, we'll be happy to share them with the audience. So, I'm sure you've got some beautiful coastline over there. So, all right, everybody, we're going to run the opening and start this day. It's a Breakfast Buzz on Indie Volt Radio. We want to welcome all of our Indie Volt Radio listeners from all over the world. Come on in and have a seat. Anybody up there on YouTube, if you are on YouTube, please hit that like button. Let us know that you're alive this morning, and feel free to join into the chat. If you're on Facebook, which reminds me, I need to jump over to Facebook and make this public, because they always knock me to friends. It's just a constant. I start out public, and then whenever the video starts, it's automatically knocked down to friends. Thank you, Facebook.
And Randy, don't forget, John Celestri says the power of the Breakfast Buzz is now in the expert hands of Captain Zim.
Okay, yes, of course. We'll see how this works. As I warned in the description, it could be a trash fire today. So. Here we go. Actually, I'm sure it won't be, because we've got some great guests. And he is searching for the... I wish we could move these cards on the board so that I knew where the clips were. Here we are. Here's the Breakfast Club opening. And then we'll be back on the other side with our guests, and we'll start talking. Well, I swore we were going to be back in. Here we are. Just a second here.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now.
Absolutely. There we are. Hey, everybody.
Good morning.
Smooth as silk.
Good morning. Yes.
Good evening.
Always. Typical Indie Volt performance. There we are. Welcome. Come on in, everybody. Have a seat. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening.
I feel underdressed now.
Oh, you're fine.
You didn't tell me I had to wear a collar? Come on, Rob. You're killing me here, mate.
You never tell anyone how you're going to dress, so you're always the sharpest one in the room.
Yeah.
Don't let him fool you, Sean. Most of the time, he's in a wife beater when he's on.
No, I got yelled at. No more coming on without your shirt. Rob,
Yeah.
put on some pants. Randy,
There was-
put up all these rules.
There was a while there we wouldn't put him on because we were afraid Facebook would ban us for nudity.
Well, you can imagine me. I wake up in the morning and he's done all of his videos and everything. So the first thing I see as I wake up in the morning is Rob and his wife being
Yeah.
on my phone, with all the notifications. So
Well, then you know. Then you know. Yeah.
I make your breakfast good.
John Celestri says, "Hail, Captain Zim. Hail, John." We had John on the Sunday Funnies program talking about his fantastic campaign he's getting ready to start. John, the animator, comics. John, actually, I don't know how much of the shows that you listen to, Sean, but John actually was animated part of the Boba Fett segment in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
oh wow.
And I say that
as you
because
can
I see all your
I'm-
Star Wars. Yeah,
Yes. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. So
I
yes.
see that. Yeah, absolutely. It's all good. Glenn Ford says, "Hey, everyone. Hey, Glenn.
Yay.
Welcome aboard. Hope everybody is doing well. We want to wish everyone along the southern coast, along the Gulf Coast, well and good health. We hope everybody's okay. I've got a line out to Anthony Figueroa, who's down in New Orleans. We hope that he's doing all right. Anthony, if you can get back a hold of us and let us know that you're okay, or at least post something on Facebook and let your friends know how you're doing.
Yeah,
All right.
tough times. Bad images coming in, so we're worried about it.
Just crazy times, crazy year. Yeah. And it's all over the world too, Sean. We want to. Well, I guess we should probably start out by introducing ourselves. So, hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Randy Zimmerman. I am in the hosting chair this morning as the normal host of Indie Volt. Varian Grant is out, and I am an independent and alternative comics creator and everything, or pretty much done just about everything in this business over the last many decades that you can imagine, and then some. I also do the Zim Geek channel here on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. And I'm part of the Breakfast Buzz program, where you normally see me on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. and then also here on the Breakfast Buzz at 9 a.m. But usually Varian runs the reins of the stagecoach, and he has left me in charge. So I went out and grabbed Rob Anderson, the comics advocate, to be with me this morning in the co-host chair, and we've got a couple of great guests already sitting below us, and well, we're going to have a great show. So, sorry, Rob, you just switched your.
Well, you're going to want me to explain myself. I have the video pre-made.
Well, run that. Rob's going to introduce himself now, so hang on.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
here we go. I have a video because I'm lazy.
Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the devilish comics creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales. He creates books about fetish, monsters, and more, and offers free spanks and hugs. He also teaches morals with farts. Check out the Comics Devil by going to MrAnderson.com.
You really need to show more about how you do both. You do both fetish productions, but you're also Cat Dad and Supermom.
Yeah, I'm going to re-edit it. The first time I did it, I was trying to test all these videos, and I've had a couple people say, you have to try to mix in the Cat Dad and Supermom. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely, you need to show that you do, all audience material also. So.
Yep, all across the board, just like Daphne.
Yes.
Just like Daphne, yes. Also with us today is Daphne Lage. Daphne,
Hi.
introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm the artist of the funny animal fantasy comic Tall Tales, written by J.D. Calderon, who might join us later if he wakes up early enough. The series spans more than 20 issues, and you can check out my work at talltalesonline.com and my YouTube channel, Daphne Lage Art.
Awesome. And also joining us for the first time on Indie Volt, all the way from the land down under, Sean Keenan. How you doing, Sean?
Hey. Yeah, very good, guys. Thank you very much for having me. So I'm the owner of a graphic novel publishing company here in Australia called Comics to Movies. So we have the #1 selling independent comic book here called the Extreme Champion Tournament, as well as other series, Terra Olympus, and a new one, Talos of Sparta, that's coming out later this year. You can find us on all the social media channels at Comics to Movies. And we've also got our own live YouTube stream on a Sunday night, which is Comics to Movies and more.
Sean, if you can, could you type that link in the comments section?
Yeah, definitely.
Comics 2 Movies, and we can probably run it as a banner underneath. Is it the number 2 or?
Yeah, the number 2. So
that's why I asked. It's
in the private chat there. So
COMICS 2 Movies.
.com.au.
Pardon?
.com.au.
Okay, Comics to Movies.
Yep.
.com.
.au.
.au.
I'm saying, Randy, I have it if you want it. And I'm on mute.
You already typed it in?
Well, he had put it in the chat, so I just jumped on it.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, awesome.
There we go.
Well, sure. I was doing that.
There we go.
Is that correct?
Yes, now it changed.
Awesome.
All right, make sure you subscribe, guys, right down there. That's that little subscribe portal that keeps you in the know for everything XCT.
Yeah.
So tell us about this. What are you guys working on?
Yeah, so we've got so we do limited edition fan art prints. So I represent about 16 different artists all around Australia. So we do a bunch of different conventions, and all of our prints are limited edition. And then on top of that, we've got the publishing side of the business. So the Extreme Champion Tournament's been our #1 selling series. So we've sold almost 7,000 copies of that series. So we've got 5 single issues, a graphic novel, and an anthology out. We've just ran a successful Kickstarter for the second graphic novel. And what I've come on to talk about today is we're doing another mini series with a gaming studio here in Australia. So something very, very different. So it's a crossover, kind of like your old Street Fighter and G.I. Joe and that type of stuff, but with an indie game company and an indie comic book. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is it's actually going to be like a choose your own adventure. So at the end of each of the comics, there will be a choice that the readers can make, and we'll have a voting page where you can vote, and then we will create the next book after a certain amount of time, and we'll direct the story depending on what people vote. So it's very different, very exciting, and something that I'm really, really proud to kind of be producing and be a part of.
Sweet. Sounds great. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Did the video game company bring any characters to you? Hey, we want to have these characters now thrown in the mix?
Yeah, so this has been a really good collaborative approach. So there was like all of my characters that they had already known about, but they've got a bunch of characters within the game called Infinity Heroes. So that's the game that it's going to be in. So they were like, oh, well, we would like to bring some of your characters into our game. And then I was like, oh, well, it would be kind of cool to tie in a crossover with a comic where, some of your characters then come into the comic. So, it was a collaborative approach. I picked some of the characters that I thought would work well in their series, and then, both our lore guys kind of got together and fleshed that out, and what a good story would kind of look like, type of thing. So, yeah.
Now, you're award-winning too, correct?
No, I've been nominated. Nominated. So I
Nominated.
find out in December. So I won't say I'm award winning yet, but that one XCT Breakout is up for a best graphic novel award at a film festival here in Australia. So I'll find out in December whether we were successful with that. So
Either way,
there was
congratulations.
thank you. There was 120 nominations, and we got down to the final 3. So which is very exciting.
So who do you have to pay to get the award? Like, who do you pick
I'm
up
still
to
trying to find out, mate. Still trying to find out.
Glenn Ford says, it's funny you mentioned G.I. Joe, Sean. I did a review for a G.I. Joe classified Scarlet on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, grew up in the 80s, so I guess like all of the G.I. Joes, Transformers, Thundercats, all that stuff is what I grew up loving. I'm not overly fond of the bastardization that they've received at the hand of the next generations of series, but we sometimes we've got to let things go and let things evolve with the way new generations will enjoy stuff. But looking at that new Thundercats stuff just brings me to tears sometimes. So
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
So, Sean, who's your favorite character from XCT?
well, I'm a big Spartacus fan, so the whole reason I got into creating comics was I was watching the Spartacus TV series. It was the final season, and then I'm a big UFC fan, so I was watching a John Bones Jones fight, and I was like, oh man, I wonder how cool it would be to kind of watch Spartacus fight John Bones Jones and actually see who would win, and then that kind of got me thinking, and I was like, what happens if they fought Genghis Khan? And the more I did research into different historical warriors, it really got me intrigued into creating something like this. But it's evolved much more from just a fighting action comic into really mirroring the actual what's going on in the world at the moment. So, all of the historical figures are clones, so they're treated as second-class citizens with no rights, and those type of things. So there's a lot more of that, X-Men feel to it, like the way that Chris Claremont wrote and everything like that. So I'm looking at having this be a pretty big story, but I definitely have an ending in mind, because I feel like with any good story there has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I don't think anything can be overly great for 500 or 600 issues with the character not really changing in that time. So yeah,
I look forward to issue 500.
no way. So
Oh, you never know. You never know. Could take
I'll
off.
sell out at one day.
It's a cool idea. Yeah.
Baron Grant is haunting us in the chat, so he is our pillow today. That is what Baron Grant is. All right, I have a question. Baron says, "Oh, go ahead.
Also, Glenn Ford asked,
Glenn,
does someone
Glenn.
have a bird?"
Yes, it's a parrot in the background. Do not adjust your smoke detectors.
Yes, please. And he will go off from time to time. So
yeah, I'll try to catch a mute on him if I can. But, see, I just missed that. Yeah, right.
All right, Randy. Boss Man has a question.
I have a question. We know here in the U.S. that sending a comic to Australia is pricey.
Yeah.
Is it the same from Australia to the U.S.?
It is. The thing that helps with a lot of my Kickstarters and that is that we ship multiple books. So, I've got, as I said, 5 single issues and multiple graphic novels out. So I'm able to package those all together at a cheaper price to ship over. And then the other thing is, if you're looking at my site or anything like that, everything is in Australian dollars, and our dollar is always shitter compared to the US dollar. So at the moment, it's about a 35% discount. So even though it is a little bit more expensive to ship, when you take into account the discount you get from the price exchange, it works out fairly similar. So so a single comic would cost about $6 or $7 to send from Australia to the US. So and then the comic itself. So you're looking at about $12 to $15. If it's a graphic novel, the same similar price type of thing. So yeah.
And I do have some good news this morning. Anthony Figueroa has reached out, and he is okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
He just reached out. He said he says everything is fine in his area. They got skirted by it.
Thanks, Anthony. Great to hear from you. Thanks for contacting us. He wrote me and said, seems to be hitting just a little to the left of us, kind of like in between Houston and New Orleans.
Yeah.
So looks like we will miss the worst part of it. Thank you for reaching out, brother. Anytime, buddy. And Anthony, the door is always open for you. I know it's early for you down there as well. Anytime you want to jump in on the show, you are always welcome. Just give us a heads up and ask for a link. And we have a great pregnant pause there.
Yeah.
Sorry. So apologetic. We're just glad Anthony's okay. We were really concerned there for a bit.
And if anyone else has been affected by this and you're listening to us on a phone or something and you want to share your experiences, we'll share it out with what you guys are seeing on the show this morning.
Absolutely. You're welcome under the chat. Feel free to chat away. Sean, tell us what you're reading, what you're enjoying down there.
I just finished another indie comic book. I got to admit, I read probably more independent comic books these days than I do of the major two. I am a big Star Wars fan, so I'm still collecting the new Marvel Star Wars series. But I just finished reading She from Comics Tribe. So that was written by an Australian guy called Ryan K. Lindsay and done under Tyler James, who does a bunch of different titles under Comics Tribe. So really enjoyed that book. It was a sci-fi book, beautifully hardcover, beautifully bound and everything like that.
Yeah, the graphic design on that book is gorgeous.
Yeah, so it's got a cutout in the face of the cover, and then the image is the first interior page type of thing, which I think is an amazing design. Tyler always seems to think outside the box in regards to these type of things, and that's what I've tried to do with this XCT Infinity, is think, okay, what can I do that's different, something that can get people excited about a project and that. So yeah, but other than that, I caught up on Negan Lives because we've been shut down here for the last few months. So I've just been getting my books delivered once a month from our local comic book store, because got to support the local comic book stores in this time as well. So and what was the other one? Oh, and then a friend had just sent one of his books, which was Wordsmith, which is like an all ages steampunk graphic novel, and that was very well produced and put together as well. So that's what I've been reading at the moment. But I am a movie and TV buff, so I've just moved into my home here in 2 weeks before everything went to shit house in February. So which was amazing. So I've got a 3-meter screen beside me here, and I've been running through all of my my Blu-rays. My dad hadn't seen any of the Marvel movies, so we did all 21 back to back over about 4 or 5 weeks, one a night. So which was kind of cool.
Yeah, awesome.
No, that's the cool thing, going back to the She book. I mean, that's the one cool thing about Kickstarter, is that how it allows everybody to do their dream book without having to go through a publisher saying, oh, no one's going to pay for that. And here's Kickstarter going, yes, people will pay for cutouts and vellum and dust jackets, and and it's just really nice seeing independent books getting this much love, design wise.
Folks doing books that they want to do too. Yeah.
And Kickstarter, like I feel like in March, which was when we ran our first Kickstarter, there was only about 150 graphic novels or comics on the platform at that stage. So we did considerably well, and that was for Terra Olympus. That was our first 5-figure Kickstarter. But it seems like the longer this COVID has happened, more and more people have grown that confidence in launching during this period. Like, for us here, all the shops have been closed for months. Yes, people have lost their jobs, but at the moment we've still been subsidised by the government and everything like that. So people are looking for entertainment. Netflix is killing it. It's like it's the time for the indies to shine, I reckon. So I think there's 230 projects at the moment on Kickstarter. So it's really good to see so many people, just getting out there and doing it, and actually doing what you said, like thinking outside the box of how can they produce something that is absolutely beautiful and an artwork within itself. So
well, one thing that's driven me crazy the last couple of decades even is that comics have been stuck in a rigid format in order to fit the right bag and fit the right board, and we don't have to do that anymore. We can. There's some beautiful hardback books. There's some fantastic paperback books out there. There are even a couple of real cheap ass publications that have come out lately. We had a guy up here that shipped his book out by just slapping a mailing label on the back cover, had it printed up in newsprint, and just shipped it out in the mail.
Well, I mean, I hope the book cost like 50 cents or something.
No, it was a $25 book. So.
I'd be no.
He still paid. Oh, he promised right after the holidays to go back to press, and we still haven't seen the proper publication of that.
Yeah, because
the COVID. You remember that? Can't do it now.
Right. Everybody else can do it, but he can't. Sure.
Even though all of the press and the printers up here are begging for work, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Yeah.
The post office.
Well, our post office has sure gone into a hole the last, and it's a lot more expensive when you price check or price compare shipping to Australia than it is for Australia
absolutely.
to ship to us now. Yeah, they've jacked all of those rates up way up. So
I think we sent 2 books to Australia, and I think like the shipping was like $75.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
American. Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that doesn't make worth it. So
what was worse was that the package was returned.
Oh, even worse. Yeah.
From our point in America, it's very expensive. Like I heard, if you're paying to send it to us, we do not feel the same in reverse in the wallet. We're paying 3 times that at least.
Yeah.
Wow.
You are one of the most expensive places to ship to. Canada is ridiculous considering it's literally attached to us. We pay double the amount just to go over an imaginary line.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I did hear that there's a company now that has like a massive truck, and they literally just cross the border and then do all the shipping for you.
Chit Chats.
Pretty.
I've seen Canadians use it, and I had no idea what it was until yesterday.
And I was like, that's a
now
really
that you know.
clever idea. But for us, I guess, for you guys, it's also hard because there's not as big of a market here in Australia for those items. So if you're only sending 2, it doesn't really make much sense sending only 1 or 2 packages. But like for us, a lot of my fans or people that back my projects are from the US, so we'll do a print run here in Australia and then do like a small digital print run in the US and get it shipped sometimes within the US, which is also an option. So the printing costs are sometimes a little bit higher, but then when you weigh up shipping compared to printing and everything like that, it all kind of washes out over the whole project type thing. So yeah.
Danny J. Quick says, Rob, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Danny. Glenn says, well, he's got to go to bed. You guys have a good morning. He's had a third shift scheduled to all of us. So.
And remember, everyone, knowing is half the battle.
Yes, knowing that it's half the battle. John Celestri says, Sean, growing up in Australia, were U.S. comic book stories redrawn by local artists, or did you get shipments from the U.S.?
Yeah, everything came from the US. So I guess the main reason why I created my own publishing company here was I thought that there was a gap in the market in Australia where there was indie comics that had no distribution, nothing. You just went to cons and you bought them from conventions or zine fairs or that type of stuff, where I've kind of come into the market, taken a little bit of the traditional book route. So we've picked up a distributor that does bookstores, libraries, and have been able to generate a lot of sales through that avenue. And then next year, we're kind of expanding on that, and we'll start opening up our publishing wing to other independent creators. We're only looking for completed stories at the moment. We'll do a Kickstarter, pay for the printing, and then we'll funnel all the distribution. But the creator will keep 100% of their copyright and everything. So we just wanted to make it easier for people to be able to sell their wares to a mass audience. And Kickstarter does do that, but it's all those other people that you miss, or those other avenues that we miss out on. So I drop off all my comics to the local comic book store or ship them to the interstate ones where this gives us a little bit more of an option of printing a larger run, having it at a warehouse, and then they do all the distribution. So you can get all of our stuff from Amazon, from Booktopia, from the Book Depository. So all those really big books online stores, you can purchase all the books on there. So at the moment, I think Booktopia's got our graphic novel for $12 or $13 at the moment, which is I'm like, hey, how much am I getting out of that? I'm not sure I'm getting much out of that. So.
Now, down in Australia, they print their own unique comics down there, don't they?
We've got the Phantom, which is really the only one that gets printed down here.
Really?
Yeah, there's not off the top of my head. I can't think of. There's a couple, as I said, small indie publishers. So there's Gestalt is probably our biggest one. So that's who Tom Taylor has done work for. So he created the graphic novel called The Deep, which is now a Netflix kids series.
Okay, cool.
And they've done what else have they done? They've done a couple of other books as well. Off the top of my head, I've just gone absolutely blank.
So
Torn
you really have a wide open market down there.
Oh, definitely.
Wow,
definitely.
That's awesome.
That's there's as far as I know, other than Gestalt and ourselves, there's no other publisher in Australia that has this type of distribution set up. So it would be a great avenue for international independent creators if they want to target another market, that they can reach out to us and we can look at doing deals and that. So as I said, we do about 20 conventions when they're finally up and running again. We do also have that as an avenue to sell a lot of our product through as well.
And the Phantom is really a unique IP because it's created here in the States as a regular comic strip through the newspapers. And then it just kind of blew up everywhere else in the world except for here in the States.
Yeah.
Here in the States, the character is pretty well unknown, and they keep a real close eye on the content here for the character, and it's very difficult to find any kind of Phantom comic strips, especially anything new.
Yeah, well, I think we're up to issue 2000.
Yeah.
I like because it's been going on since the 40s, maybe earlier than that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Fru is the publishing company here in Australia, and their distribution model is the old school newsstand. So I see you've got the newsstand behind you there. So they still
the old spiral rack,
yeah, so they still send out to your local milk bars, your card and magazine shops and those type of places. So, but they've still got that old school return policy as well that you get with magazines and everything like that. So
now, at the risk of sounding like an idiot, you mentioned a milk bar.
Yep.
What is that?
Oh, really? It's like your corner store.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Convenience store.
Right. Here we call it a bodega.
It's just milk.
Yeah, we would call those convenience stores or drugstores.
Right, and here we call it bodegas.
A bodega.
Yeah, I was going to say bodega.
Yeah.
Bodega or the old nightstand.
There we go.
We'll go to a drugstore getting something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like that. All the Americans in the room stopped. It's like, oh, is that like milk in a bag or something? It's like,
is that like a Milky Way bar or what? No,
I actually didn't know what it was because someone, I think it might have been you, Sean. At one time we were talking, said something. I was like, oh, so it's like our dairy barn, and you were like, what's a dairy barn?
Yeah. Everybody's got a definition for a convenience store. Yeah.
I said the funniest thing was like when I first started out creating comics, my artist was American. He still is American. He hasn't changed, but he's no longer my artist anymore. But he was drawing Spartacus, and I'd done a description of Spartacus and everything. And then I get the page back, and Spartacus is wearing a thong. And I'm like, that was my face, Rob. I was like, what the hell? Why have you drawn this? He said, you said he had thongs on. And I'm like,
oh, sandals.
Flip-flops. Sandals.
Sandals.
He's like, he goes, I did not enjoy drawing this at all. And I was like, oh, sorry, man. Yeah. So I've got this image at home still of Spartacus in a thong that was never meant to be drawn. So,
well, if you change your market slightly,
hey, yep.
Don't discount it, man. There's some money there. There's some money.
Danny J. Quick says, is Rob wearing a necktie? LOL. Joe McPhee says, good morning, all. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Thanks for listening. Dreaded Dinosaur Eric says, why not source in Australia for those customers? That's what he was talking about earlier. Joe McPhee says, I was thinking malt shop or a place to get snacks for Milk Bar.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We were all guessing here.
Sorry about that.
And
I had to get that clarification.
It's so funny because I don't realize how much slang that I actually use, because I've been to America, I think about 7 or 8 times now, and it's every time I go, I seem to like there's one thing that I always get stuck on. Like the last time I went shopping and I was trying to look for something for my wife, and the lady came over and was like, "Oh, can I give you a hand?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm just having a sticky beak." And she just looked at me like, what the hell? And
what?
A sticky beak here in Australia, so I'm just having a look around. I'm just like, I'm finding my way, and just, but it's simple things like that. And I could tell when she walked away, and then I'm trying to explain myself, and she's like, "This guy's a weirdo," like, and I'm like, just turn around, walk out of the store.
I guess it's what, like your nose is stuck to the window, like you're window shopping.
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's it.
Now, Sean, let me tell you something they didn't tell you. Sticky hand means theft. So you just told them,
oops.
Fingers. So you're literally going, I'm just having a sticky around. Oh, he's gonna.
No wonder the security guy came around the side and was like, follow me out the shop.
And
was
then,
like,
and then
this
what's
guy
worse is
doing?
that a lot of these words are regional too. So
Yeah.
it's like depending on what part of the United States you're in, like words can mean something completely different.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most folks would call it a soda. We call it a pop around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have that much. There are like one or two things in Australia that are different state to state, but predominantly everything is the same. So I've been caught out a few times, asking for chips instead of crisps, and then I'm like, no, I meant hot chips. Why you give me a chips in a packet? I want hot chips with my steak, not a chips in a packet. and no one ever understands me when I say Coke. They're like, what?
Wow.
Well,
I mean,
here you'll get a Coke.
Yeah, here you
They're
go.
like,
Coke, too.
sorry?
In New York,
I'm like,
you'll get a Coke.
Coca-Cola. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just have a Sprite.
Yeah.
and just as a heads up, Danny, anytime you want to come on the show, come on the show. I know that you have a rivalry with Varian that we'd love to explore.
That was a fiendish laugh.
Yes, because Varian's always trying to make us have us some problems, right?
Oh,
Randy?
yeah.
It'd
He
be
always
nice
tries to
see
trigger
him.
us.
And it'd be
every
nice
chance he
to
gets.
see him come on and see some stuff going on.
Yeah. I already covered that. Don't be afraid to jump in the chat, folks. We don't have any international radio numbers today because Varian is out and he has control of that side of the board. But we're sure that you're out there listening, and we appreciate each and every one of you. This is the Breakfast Buzz. That was Daphne's bird.
Yes.
So your smoke alarm is just fine unless you need to replace your own personal batteries. And thanks everybody for listening in. And the bird.
I'm trying to catch him on the mute. I'm trying.
Oh,
I'm
he's
trying.
sneaking in just because
Yeah.
we mentioned him. Here he is. Mr.
Wow.
Varian Grant has joined the house.
Whoa. Whoa. Rob, did you just invite Danny J. Quick on my show?
Not on your show. You're not here. We were trying to get him in while you weren't here. We
I
figured
can see.
we figured you were getting poked and prodded.
We'll have a meeting about this later, Rob. Goodbye.
Didn't even know you were around. Well, while you were there, Varian, at least you could have given us the radio numbers. You probably don't have.
I'll look them up.
All right.
I'm in a foul mood now, Rob. Foul mood.
So
we'll
very
have Danny on next week.
Say what?
We'll have Danny on next week.
The Advocate show and the Newswire may soon be canceled. Just so you know. So enjoy that whenever you find it on Indie Volt Radio. So, Sean, very very many comics from Great Britain.
I think there's a whole scene over there.
How's 2000 AD down there?
Yeah, that's pretty big. So Colin Wells is is an Australian artist that's done a lot of work on that. So predominantly a lot of our stuff comes from the US. You can order stuff from the UK, but it's predominantly very much us. We're kind of like the little brothers. Sometimes we feel to you guys. We kind of hang on your coattails and be like, oh, hey, look at us, we're here too, type of thing. They don't really have much to do with the UK. I kind of have more connections and everything with a lot of people in the US than I do from the UK. So
I hear you. Yeah.
But I do know there's a really strong indie scene over there. I went to Ireland a couple of years ago, and the local comic book store there, Forbidden Planet, they were super great in regards to supporting local comics. And I'll know Rob will like this one. They've got a comic called O, and it's about a female that every time she has an orgasm, she kills the person that she's having an orgasm with. So, but it's very well written, very very well written, and that. So, jump on
Why
that
did
one,
you just
mate.
call her the Black Widow? They should have called her the
Well,
Black
there's
Widow.
unfortunately
Well, Marvel
Black
might
Widow's
have a
probably
problem with
taken
that.
all over the world at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Australian Black Widow. Come on.
I mean, I'm just funny. I just find it funny that Australia doesn't have its own like. Do you have like a really like Australian specific comic scene? Like France has their own really specific comic scene. I would have thought that Australia would have been big enough that it would have like its own, like this is very Australian, as opposed to like, oh, we just get everything from the United States and Britain.
There definitely is a couple of titles that are very strange. So there's a series out called Killaroo, which is probably the most prominent one, which is about a big kangaroo that's is a killer. So but
that sounds like a book I want to read. It does.
Oh well, it's if you want to check it out, it's actually on Kickstarter at the moment. It's by Darren Close. It's the first time he's done a Kickstarter, and he's jumped out of the gates. He's sitting on about, I think, 13,000 Australian dollars on his very first Kickstarter, and he's got some amazing rewards for $20. He's got a ridiculous amount of items because he just kept on adding stretch goals and kept on breaking them. There's like, oh shit, Sean, what am I doing? I'm like, I don't know, mate. You better stop.
Yeah.
So, there's 3 days left on that. If you want to check that out, it's called Killaroo. So, but then I guess where our film industry here in Australia, to get a lot of things made, it's got to be very Australian focus. So, it's got to be, set here in Australia, and it's got to showcase our land and everything like that.
Sure.
And predominantly, we don't have the market here in Australia to then make that, I feel, interesting everywhere else in the world. And a lot of us just want to create stuff either in our own universes or New Zealand, a great example is, they do their own movies, but they use their landscape to create Middle Earth. They use their landscape to create the Shannara Chronicles. I just feel like we over here, we're so intent on going, oh no, it's got to have a kangaroo in it. It's got to have a koala in it. It's got to, have a kookaburra. It's got to have a larrikin that talks like this and says, "G'day, mate." Like, you can't just have like a really good action movie or something like that.
That just happens to be Australian, as opposed to something being an Australian stereotype.
Correct.
Right,
correct.
yeah.
Yes, and I feel that's what is missing here, and I think COVID-19 has really highlighted that. So there's been a lot of talks and that, because most of Australia has reopened. We've got very little transmission. We're getting like maybe 3 or 4 in a whole state a day, which is considerably good. So we are trying to entice a lot of filming and that to come to Australia. So my idea and my hope is to build up a stable of works within a graphic novel business, and then pitch that towards a TV show or series or something like that. So with all these new content laws coming in for streaming services, they have to make a certain amount of content in that country. But again, just because they have to make it here, I don't want to do just an Australian story for the sake of doing an Australian story. If there's something that really interests me, I love history and everything. So if there was a really good war movie, I just watched Midway the other day about Pearl Harbor and stuff. And if there was something like that really interests me, like I definitely would create it. But I just don't want to create something and set it in Australia just for the sake of sake of it type of thing. So yeah.
And with comics being, really, they rely on icons and stereotypes so easily that I could really see that being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too many quick tropes and, too much recognition.
Right.
Stereotyping.
Especially since that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure most Australians could spend their entire lives without seeing a koala or a kangaroo in the wild, right?
Yep. Yep, definitely. But we had an exchange student when I was at school, and I was like, man, he's like, oh, where am I going to see a kangaroo? I'm like, we're at school, man. Where do you
Right.
think we live? Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to see a kangaroo. And what do you reckon happened at lunchtime? Here's 4 kangaroos jumping past the school. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I've been here for
Damn you.
for 17 years. Like you're 11 here. I've never seen a kangaroo, and just we happen to have someone over, and 4 kangaroos just jump past. I'm like, are you serious? So, but yeah, it's like we're like any other developed country. You know, within the cities, there's not many native animals whatsoever, unless they're in the zoo or birds, type of thing. So, I would say, like most Australians would have seen our native animals because they bring them into schools and that type of stuff to show, and teach us about our own culture and history and animals and stuff like that. But yeah, you just don't see them jumping around. But I do live in regional Victoria, so I've moved out of the city now. Drop bears, yeah, no such thing. No such thing as drop bears, but we do like telling you guys about it. We do have 8 out of the 10 most deadliest animals in the world. But so don't know what's going on at the moment, but we've had quite a few
they're all
great
this
whites.
big. They're all this big.
Great whites, the biggest. Yeah. We had a good crocodile up in Kakadu, which is our Northern Territory. I think that got up to about 7 meters. So it's a big crocodile. So,
all right, not to be the guy in the room who does this. I know we talked about not being on stereotypes, but seriously, can you tell me more about Killaroo? I need to know more about Killaroo. The 62,411 listeners on radio and our Indie Volt Radio right now need to know about Killaroo.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it justice now.
No, we're kidding. Don't worry about it. It was just a joke to introduce all the listeners. We have 62,000 people listening to us this morning.
It's not my book, so I don't know that much about it.
He was like, I don't even follow this thing. I saw a cover. I'll give you a story from the cover I saw. So there's this kangaroo.
I was just going to say, Sean's not on here to push Killaroo.
No. But we do want to thank everyone listening. I hope Australia's listening so you can get some fans off this. We do get an Australian audience every so often. A little late in Australia today, but you never know. There could be some late night owls up listening right now.
I think Australia was like our number 1 listener like a couple of nights ago. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I told you, we just love you guys. Yeah, we're always listening out for more content and everything. So, yeah.
Joe says, Danny, on the show, equal rating or show equal rating. Not quite sure just what that means. The UK has a tradition of weekly comics mags. Is it the same in Australia?
No. Okay. No, didn't know that. No. The only comics. We've got still the comic strips in our newspapers, like, but even those, I think they're down to 2 or 3 comic strips now. So that even that isn't very big. So pretty much in the late 90s to the early 2000s, other than local comic book stores, you practically couldn't find comic books anywhere. They got taken out of all of the news agents or milk bars or drugstores. So there was quite a few years, and I think after that there were a few publishers prior to that. There was an Oi 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 magazine, which again is Aussie stereotype, Oi Oi Oi. Since then it's been very.
I'm sorry, Sean. That was mostly a humor magazine, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so kind of like we used to have our own edition of Mad magazine. So we had an Australian edition that really helped out up and coming cartoonists and everything like that. They did that, but that's now gone. That's even shut down. So other than like your political pictures in the newspapers now, there's not even a lot of like your caricature cartoonist style stuff around either. So and if there is, I haven't, it's not out there enough for a lot of us to even kind of know about it. So yeah.
So have what we would call newsstands, your magazine sellers and that, have they dropped a lot within the last 10, 15 years?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, you used to go into a magazine store and man, there would be like 90 or 100 different magazines because we would get all the American ones, then we'd get all the Australian ones that would get put out, then we'd get some from the UK and all that. So there just used to be heaps. Now it's about a rack full. You've got your film ones, a couple of car ones. The ones that have, I guess, still stayed around is your naughty girl ones that kind of still seem to be available. But
they're always popular for some strange reason.
Yeah. So they're done just for Rob, I think. But yeah, just there just doesn't seem to be the market for them type of thing. We've only got 21 million people in our whole country. You guys have that in New York alone, don't you? Like 21 million. So
I think we have even more than that.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time I looked, but it's. Yeah.
Go ahead. That's still a sizable audience, though, and especially as far as comics and that kind of entertainment readership goes. You would think, from the way I understand it, we're really enclosed here. There aren't a whole lot of comics. Have always been looked down upon as kiddie literature since the 50s, and that stigma hasn't applied to anywhere else in the world. As much as it has here.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because I actually did an interview today with the Library Association here, and there's an actual group here that are trying to lobby to get graphic novels and that this type of literature into libraries because it is the same here. It is looked down to as a lower form of writing, a lower form of creation.
Right.
When there are so many good stories. When people think of comics, the first thing they think of is superheroes. Mm-hmm. But comic books are so much more than superheroes. And when you tell someone that, they're like, I love that Chris Hemsworth movie Extraction. That was phenomenal. Did you see that? And I'm like, yeah, that's based on a graphic novel. They're like, oh no, it's not. And I was like, yeah. Oh, did you see Umbrella Academy? That's really cool. That's really I'm like, yeah, that's based on a graphic novel. I remember my auntie who not into this stuff at all. She's like, oh, have you heard of this show Arrow? It's a really cool, almost comic booky type show. I think you'd really like it. I'm like, it's based on the Green Arrow, the DC character. She's like, oh, really? Oh, I don't watch comic book stuff. And I'm like, well, why does that matter? What now that I've just told you, it shouldn't matter. So, so that's one of my missions here in Australia is to really advocate for that change in perception around graphic novels. The whole reason I got into comics was I struggled to read as a kid. My mum bought me my first comic, and that helped me be able to identify what the words were with what was going on, type of thing. And it wasn't until I was much older that I realized that I was a visual learner. If I'm shown something, I can do it. You tell me how to do something, I struggle to do it. You can tell me 10 times. You just ask my wife. She tells me 10 times to do something all the time, and I don't do it. But really, if you show me how to do something, then I'm able to do it. So that's what I'm trying to get across, and that there's so many really good stories, really good moral lessons that come from books, and my whole love of literature, from film, from comics, came from my mum pushing me to read and pushing me to better myself. So, yeah.
One of the things up here in the States that I deeply miss is they used to do Classics Illustrated. And you don't see those out often enough anymore, or very incredibly rarely. But they went through and adapted all of the classics back in the 40s and 50s sequential art format, and they're all just really good. Every once in a while, you'll see a company like Marvel did a string of them back in the '90s, and I think Valiant or one of the independent publishers tried to do that a few decades ago. But it's been a long time since anybody's really sat there and concentrated on adapting the classics to sequential art, because like you said, it's so easy for kids to read comics compared to sitting and having to read a book, especially in high school or it's difficult for them, but it's a lot easier to sit and read a graphic novel. So much easier.
Well, also it doesn't help either that school makes reading a chore rather
Yeah.
than something fun to do.
Yeah.
So, but that's another conversation.
We might have already covered this, but Ralph Griffith says, are there any Aussie publishers looking to publish and distribute American indie comics?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we're looking at doing that. So comics to movies in 2021. So it will need to be a completed story. So just follow us on Facebook and when we'll announce that when that's open. So we'll start taking submissions, and again, as I said before, the creator will still hold 100% of their rights. So we don't ask for any rights of the book, and we'll go down that avenue of it will be a Kickstarter to pay for the printing, and then we'll do the distribution and that side of it. So yeah.
There, Eric Dreaded Dinosaur says, so nothing with Yahoo Serious then.
Impressive. Actually, I think there was a comic on Yahoo Serious. Yeah, I'd have to actually Google that to find out, but I do think there was something on Yahoo Serious.
Yeah,
but,
he had his 15 minutes of fame here in the States about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Has a new Crocodile Dundee movie come out over there?
We haven't seen it yet.
No,
I read that it was coming.
Yeah. I'm like, please, just let Paul Hogan die. Come on, man.
Oh, boy.
Weren't they teasing something where someone was going to be the son of Crocodile for the Super Bowl commercials? Last year, remember that? They ran some Super Bowl. It was Chris Hemsworth, I think. Did it? I have to look it up. But
You're right. You are right. Yes.
JD Calderon asks, how about a scorpion? What?
I'm out.
Oh, these are
funnel web spiders. Yeah.
Yeah. These are all the lovely poisonous
yes
Australian flora and fauna.
Evil monsters. Yeah. The stuff that'll kill you.
Huh.
JD, you'll have to listen to the earlier part of the program.
Yeah.
How's the indie comic scene in Australia? Yeah. And Joe D. McPhee says Classics Illustrated is a treasure. Yeah, and when they were first out, I never paid much attention to them, read them every once in a while just to see what they were like, but now I kind of dig them up, and look for them. I've got a copy of the early Classics Illustrated Uncle Tom's Cabin that apparently is pretty rare just because of the subject matter.
Right.
So very interesting.
Just going back to population though, what did you say that Australia has a population of how many?
It's about 21, almost 22 million in the whole country. Our whole country is the size of North America without Alaska.
Right, and so you have the same, pretty much a similar population to Florida. New York comes in at 19 million.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
so that there's some context for everybody. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And what? Rob's off.
Oh, yeah. Rob split for some reason.
We want to thank everybody that's listening on Indie Volt Radio all around the world. We want to invite everybody into the chat. If you have a question for Sean Keenan, does a book called XTC Infinity Issue 1 that's coming up on Kickstarter. Right here pretty quick. When is that campaign going to launch? The 15th of September, right?
18th of September.
18th.
So it'll be early morning for you guys. So we're going to launch that at about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, so it'll be about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning for you guys. So
And there it is. That's Extreme Championship Tournament, right?
Yep. It's a bit of a mouthful. I tell you what, I wish I knew what I knew about comics now, because I definitely would not have done that as the title of the comic book.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody's going to say, is it ecstasy? Is that what it is?
It's XCT. Yeah.
See, I thought I'd be clever and drop the E from Extreme and do XCT.
Oh, that
But-
yeah, that
Yeah.
that
I
would
dig it.
confused.
Actually, I love it because of NXT and all that. I actually think it works. As a wrestling fan, I think it really
Well,
works.
because that's what I was kind of going for, Rob. Like, you know, that old wrestling type thing, the UFC, and I was trying to come up with something that had, you know, that 3 letters and could be bold and jump off the you know, title, you know, the front cover of your comic and everything. So, but my other ones have either had the main character now in the main title or whatever, and so people know exactly who it is and what it's about and everything straight off the title. But these are the fun things you learn after you create a couple of comics. So
Well, the funny thing is that it's even because in the context of the comic, it makes sense because it's, you know, especially if you're familiar with wrestling and whatnot. But the thing is that there's a lot of people who think that the shorter the word is, the more complicated it must be. Like they never look at like 4 letters or 3 letters and think, oh, it's just those 3 letters. Instead they go, oh, it must mean something, it must be complicated, I have to like try to figure out how to pronounce it. And it's like, no, it's just literally what you see, that's it.
yeah,
And what I would do time you go to an event and you have enough fans, get like one of those fan meetups and have them all yelling.
Oh yeah,
XCT,
definitely, yeah.
And have like one of those and do that throughout the entire year, and at the end of the year put it all together and show all the fans of XCT like crazy, and that'll really sell it, because then people will be like, oh, look at that fighting, I get it, fans are fighting.
That's a really cool idea. See,
Yeah,
see, I love
that
coming
would
on shows like this.
And it would teach people that that's what it means.
Right.
That it's just
T-shirts printed,
letters.
you can buy them real cheap
Right.
printing. Get just the XCT on the logo on it, like they have for ECW, and sell
Oh
the
yeah, definitely.
$5.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, suddenly it's like a thing.
Extreme.
I'll give you a commission later, Rob.
Yeah, I could see T-shirts like that.
Yeah.
You know, with the explanation down underneath the main, just like your logo of your comic. Yeah, be real big.
Yeah, I think that's there's more and more options. We were talking about you know, the comic cover from She before, but there's all of this other merchandise that's becoming more and more available to independent creators as well, like enamel pins of like, you know, I know that's something that's been big in the US for a little while, but that's really starting to get big now here in Australia. Like every single you know, Kickstarter or table at conventions now, you see are starting to do enamel pins. You've got like the old school trading card ones. You know, the printing on those are really good. So, you know, it's quite interesting to see what other merchandise you can kind of do. And the things I like about doing these type of shows and just spitballing with other creators is someone will think, will say something, go, have you thought of that? And I'll be like, no, I haven't, but I'm going to take that.
Another big thing that I keep
Let me
seeing
write that
too
down.
is like acrylic keychains. And they're like really elaborate. And another thing is like acrylic standees. That's another one that I see a lot of. And sometimes you can get the base. You can get the base with the light. And the thing is, though, there's there's I can't remember off the top of my head. Made by Cooper. I think that's the one of the companies, Made by Cooper. And it's like, and it's like you can get one if you wanted. And it was like, I don't know, like $30 or something.
It's like print on demand anymore with 3D printers. You can make any type of little action figure. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend that does Lego figures.
Sure.
Right.
It's like, so, you know, for a certain amount of price, will design up and do to an individual Lego figure. So like as a stretch goal and that type of thing, that's like something kind of cool because it's light, it's tiny. You can just chuck it in the same little bag and it doesn't really add.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do
anything.
that until Robert Mutari from Nightwolf.
Yep.
That he did a custom Lego, and it's like you could do that too.
Yeah.
Anything to get your IP out there. Varian has his own Funko Pop.
Oh yeah, which you can commission Funko to do. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
I just don't know what the minimums are.
Yeah. And it's like print on demand. Your per unit cost is probably way high.
Mm-hmm.
So until you get it up
enough,
or order enough.
I would get one though. I'm vain like that.
You know you are. Have our numbers changed at all? 62,000?
Yeah, they're actually up to 67. 67 even, actually.
Slowly climbing. And to take that banner down.
Is there a number one country, or we don't know that yet?
Yeah, you know what? I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Usually Australia comes out. Sean, they're not here for you tonight. What's going on?
They heard I was going to be on, mate. That's what happened.
That dude again. Not him. Anyone but him to represent us.
Yeah, right now it's Ireland and let me see. Hold on one second.
See, much love to Irish. I married an Irish girl, so yes.
And in fairness, a lot of Australia was made up of Irish criminals. So, come on!
Always has to be criminals, convicts, Crocodile Dundee. I think you've done all the cliches.
Oh, even there.
And the boomerangs. I love boomerangs. So I can't get them to work for me. They never come back. Kind of like my cousin's dad.
Oh no!
It's all about flicking your wrist.
So all in the wrist. It's always the wrist.
A lot of yes, you always get the. I'm not going to do the action.
Are boomerangs more prevalent than kangaroos around in your area?
No, not at all. No. Well, way less.
Another stereotype broken.
Yes. But a lot of people will throw with their arms, and they think it's all about the arm, but it's not. It's actually about flicking the wrist, and that's what makes the boomerang spin and come back. So yeah.
Mark Hodges from Grand Rapids Comic Con says minimum is $30K for a custom Funko.
Wow!
At a cost of about $7 each, postage paid. Takes about 6 months. Shipped from China. Reprints of current Funkos are a lot less quality or quantity. About the same cost.
Repaints.
Yeah,
so I guess if we use a mold they already have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jody McPhee says, can't wait to get a 3D printer. Want to print my own statues and my characters. Yeah, I've got a son-in-law who's working on. He's got a 3D printer. Is working on some statues for me. Some little tiny action figures. Mark says again. He said he looked into it. So thanks, Mark, for the input. I was happy to have you.
Yeah, now we know. Like I knew it was possible, but now we know.
I can get a third mortgage on the house for a Funko.
Oh boy,
there we are.
Not if Lola has a say in that.
Yeah, I get a third mortgage on the house. That'd be fine. What's the worst gonna happen?
Where are you gonna store 30,000 Funkos?
I'd sell them out. They gotta be sold.
That'd just double your collection at your house, right?
Yeah.
But it'd all be me, and I'd have to like. It'd be gifts for everybody at first. Here's a Funko of me.
You should talk to JD first about our adventures in vinyl toy making. He has a story to tell you about that.
What was it bad?
You tell toy making. What kind of toys were they? What kind of toys were they?
Not those kind of toys, Rob.
Oh, never mind.
He's gone again.
Oh.
No, you don't get to see my monkey.
Oh, really?
So we had these made up.
Wow.
We still
cool
have
looking.
Yeah, thank you. We had too many of these made. at too much money.
Is there articulation?
Not officially. I mean, it's like the joints do move, but that's because that's where the joints are. Right? So it wasn't intentional, but it was nice to find out that it could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so we still have a basement full of these, and we ordered 1,000 of them.
And you still have a basement full of them.
And we still have a basement full of them.
How much do they retail for?
We originally 40, but I think that now it's like on our website we have them for 30. We have one of the variants for 30.
Okay. See, I didn't know you guys had toys. You never tell me anything.
Well, you have to ask. But the conversation has to go into it.
I always wanted to have a set of Anniverse characters that were about half that size.
You see, what's funny is that if we were to do this again now, we have a lot more options at a much lower price point.
Cool.
Now,
yeah.
So this was at the height of the vinyl toy craze, but also it was a lot more complicated to make them too.
Yeah.
So now it's like we probably could have gotten these at a fraction of the price and still had the same type of quality. And it's just the technology changes that fast.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those old hand sculpted statues done of Spartacus because I thought, that'll be cool. People will pay for that, and yeah, couple of grand later, you're like,
right? Yeah, it's like let me guess. It's like, oh, that is so cool. Walk away.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning.
Meredith Lugren is in the house now.
Good morning.
From Indie Vets.
Is it the first time there's Meredith and Daphne at the same time?
Yes.
It's the first
Why
time?
Are we supposed to fight? What?
No. It's like
on the next issue of XCT.
If Lola pops up, we have to go. It's the hormonal balance in the room is shifting.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Lola
yeah,
said she
I
doesn't
couldn't.
have a face on.
Varian. Yeah, I saw your invite yesterday, but I couldn't make it.
Oh, that's fine.
So,
yeah, we don't have to worry about Lola. She said she doesn't have her face on.
Right.
She won't worry about anything. She'll just complain from behind me.
Although I'm gonna have to try to be on Lola's show eventually. So.
Yeah.
You see what happens when you invite a New Yorker? It's instantly violence.
I have a question.
I'm from the nice area of New York.
What,
we had
upstate?
cows. You're
upstate. You really are upstate. Okay.
Hey, Westminster?
Okay.
Is it New York though? Is it New York where you're from?
Oh, now you're
the real New York, Rob.
Right. Now you're gonna make us fight.
I did hear, and I told JD this. I heard that Miami is the sixth borough.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Miami, Florida is the sixth borough of New York.
A lot of New Yorkers travel down to Miami to avoid our summers. Yeah.
Sean, you had mentioned that you were a Star Wars fan.
Oh, our winters. Although our summers are pretty bad there, so.
Don't know how you got to that conclusion.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And but have you how is the fandom there? Is it big there? I mean, do they still have toys warming the pigs or?
Oh yeah. It's pretty big over here. We struggled to get a lot of our toys, but we've got specialty shops now that pretty much ship stuff directly from the US. So we've got a big one called Go Figure Collectibles, and they
Cool.
stock all of the either Sideshow, Hasbro, EFX collectibles, like all that type of stuff. So I haven't finished my cinema room yet, but I've got the 3 posters behind me. I don't know if you can see if I can shoot it around, but I've even got the old school Caravan of Courage, the Ewok movie.
Oh, sweet.
Oh.
So I've got that.
Wow.
Then I've got this. I'm not overly great at this, but these ones aren't up on the wall yet. So
Cool.
And then I've got my original Star Wars ones out in the hallway, which I picked up quite a few years ago, which is kind of cool. So yeah, and then I've got all my statues. But sorry,
I was going to say, hey Randy, maybe we can get John to do one of those. Let me turn on the camera. One of those special meetings with Sean, and we cut the profits half and half. You could meet a Star Wars celebrity, Sean, for just $50 for 10 minutes.
Oh boy.
Which one did John worked on the Christmas special, right? Was it? Randy?
Yeah, he did the
holiday
Boba
special.
Fett. Yeah.
Yeah, the holiday special. Yeah, not the prison special. What?
The Christmas special?
No, the holiday special. Yeah.
Technically, if it was part of your childhood, John worked on it.
Well, depending upon how old you are.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's my teenage years there, in adulthood.
Yeah, a girl I've been recently dating was like, I didn't hear of any of that, and I suddenly was wondering, how did I get so lucky to date such a young girl?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, so the one thing that I'd love to get to that I haven't is Star Wars Celebrations. So that's the one thing that I haven't done. But I've been lucky enough to meet the late Carrie Fisher. I got to meet all of the voice actors out of the Rebel cartoon series because I'm a big fan of that series. I thought they did a fantastic job with that. So and then I've met David Prowse. I can't even think of the actress that played Ayla Sakura, and a few other ones as well. So and then Timothy Zahn, the author as well. So got to meet him in San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I was fanboying out there. So yeah.
I realized last night that my wife is only familiar with Saved by the Bell, the reruns. So that's really old.
And you've been under quarantine all this time? You could have just had her sit down and binge watch This Is Tough.
Yeah. Well, she's seen the episodes, but she's never seen one that was new.
Ah.
And I'm like,
not even the next class?
No. Well, I mean, keep in mind, she was born December 28th, 1989. So I'm convinced she didn't fill her first diaper to 1990.
Hold on. I got to pass out for a second.
You're saying that to make us all feel old.
I know. I graduated then.
and she's like, and she tells me she's old. I'm like, yeah, okay. Sure you are.
I think I was remarried by that time.
I was 8 in '89, so
yeah, me too. And she was.
Yeah.
I don't like how young she is, but I like how young she is.
Yeah, my wife's a few years younger than me, and whenever I say, people go, so when did you graduate high school? And you say, and she's like, I started high school that year. I was like, the year I graduated, I was like, that's a bit wrong,
Hey, Varian, I'll tell you what one of my friends told me, and I'll never forget it. He's like, just remember, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, so always get a puppy. You can always train him.
Oh, so boy.
You know what?
Randy and I are the old timers in here.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, I consider that good company. All right, all you young whippersnappers,
Right?
I
get the hell off my lawn.
Brain for beauty.
My idea is to hit 40 and stop aging. That's it. I'm not going past that. I see what's on the other side of that. I don't like it. And in my family, it seems to be, now we have health issues. Okay, I'm gonna stay at 40. See if I can. Plus, can anybody imagine me old?
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yes, it has to work that way. I can't. No one can imagine me old. So
what do you mean 40? I had my first, my back went out the first time in my mid-20s.
Varian, you literally have a thing that says "Old Man Varian" on your page.
Yeah,
think about it. Come on.
That's an imagining. I can't imagine being that way. I'm already on a cane. How bad is it going to get? Christ.
Let me ask you a question. When you're sitting on the couch watching TV, what clicks more, you or the remote?
Oh boy.
You know what though? I know I'm getting old because the more I look at comics, the more I'm like, what is this shit? What am I reading?
Yeah. No, for real. For real.
What is this
yeah.
crap? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What is this crap?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand me one of those Marvel Essentials over there. That's the good
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Get out of my house.
Uh-huh.
It's funny when your children come up to you and go, "Daddy, why are you always angry?" I'm like, "Oh, am I, honey? Oh, sorry. I was watching our Australian rules football tonight. My team was playing and my team lost, and I was said a few choice words,
Right.
and she's like, "Daddy, if you want to feel better, you can come and play with me in my room." I said,
There
"Oh,
you
thank
go.
you, honey."
There you
She's 4, so
Nothing wrong with a little tea party every once in a while.
that's it. So she always wants to paint my nails, and then I go to work and I'm like, sparkly nails again, really, really. So
See,
I mean, just go. I got daughters. You know, I mean, I used to do that to my dad. I used to paint his nails, and he had longer hair, so we put little pigtails all over his head so they look like umbrellas. It was fun.
So when you go to work, you can tell the guys that have got daughters to the ones that don't, because the looks they give you as you walk past, they're like, So
I got a little boy, so I just, get bruised up and, and he's a handful. So, he knows Daddy has special serum to deal with him. It's called beer. I tell him, "You'll get Daddy one of the special serums. Hurry. Okay. Do you want the regular one or the one that says light?"
Oh boy.
See, I only have boys, and my gifts were pictures of their poo. Like, look how long this is. It was like, why? I mean, like, so I don't know what it's like to have a girl. I'm pretty sure it's alien, but I think that's probably why I have the humor that I do, and I can hang out with the boys.
It is a little easier to handle, yeah.
I do hear that you lose your daughter between the ages of 13 and 20, and it just becomes a monster that you live with. That is
until she has babies of her own.
Yeah,
that's what everyone has said,
exactly.
and I'm like, I don't want to experience that. Like,
Well,
I don't
enjoy
know
it now. Enjoy it now because it passes in a blink. So, I tell everybody, I figured out when my daughter was 15 that she had grown up. When I was going to yell at her, I was really mad at her for something, and I realized I was looking at her eye to eye. And I'm like, it just took all the wind out of my sails. I said, if you haven't learned by now, it's not, there's practically nothing more I'm ever going to be able to teach you. So.
Shit, I'm short, Kate. I'm short. Caden's already my height.
Yeah.
He's 10. Well, I gotta stop yelling at him. I probably should. He might be knock my ass out. probably
it just comes a time when you go, all right, work's done. You're going to be stupid. You go be stupid.
I thought about something last night, and I told the story on Geekgasm. And I think it is why my kid is the way he is. When I seen the Transformers movie, I was talking the story the other night. They kill Optimus Prime in the animated movie, and I was a kid. My parents took me to see the movie, and I came home, and my aunt who lived with us said she opened the door, and I was standing there clutching my Optimus Prime figure that I took to the movie with me. Tears, face soaked with tears. I looked at her. I said, "They killed you," and I broke out. Started crying again. She said, I went to my room for 2 days, basically. Just a sad little boy. But one thing I remember is that I went into my closet and removed a pair of dress shoes I had from this little, tiny shoebox. I put 12 tissue in the shoebox. I put Optimus Prime in the box, closed the box up. Then went into the living room, removed dirt and sod from a plant, and buried him inside the plant. There was dirt all over the floor. My mother was pissed. So I thought about that. I'm like, why the hell did I bury my toy? And I'm gonna keep that in mind the next time my son does something stupid, so that I don't yell at
But
him.
I mean, you were processing something.
You'll know to go out and bury his toy. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe I tell him, I'll bury you. The same thing.
Oh boy.
I'll use a shoebox. It's not a problem. Yeah, no.
That whole time I was like, Hot Rod is so much cooler.
Which is the reason why they killed off Optimus Prime. That was what, a Hasbro decision.
Give me that Matrix back. I was so happy when he got his Matrix back. I was so happy. It was real. I have that downloaded episode just so I can watch whenever I'm feeling bad. Like, come on, and get your Matrix back. Hot Rod fucking up. It took one season to lose it. He's a paper champ. That's what he was.
He never wanted to be the leader. He never wanted it. It was forced on him.
I see we got a Hot Rod apologist in the room.
He's cool. He's alone.
His truck. Actually, I'll tell you something, guys. You don't believe you probably won't believe me, but it's true. There actually was a Hot Rod cameo in an older movie, very popular older movie called Cruising, and with Al Pacino. If you go look up, there's a Hot Rod truck in the back, same truck. I believe it actually is Hot Rod's first cinematic appearance in Cruising. Yep,
with Al Pacino.
Subject matter of that film is exactly Hot Rod fits right in. So
I think you just out nerded all of us.
Really?
We're all stunned in silence here.
Yeah.
If you look up Cruising, you'll get it. Everyone will look up Cruising. They're like, what is that? Oh my god!
It definitely beats a French Lamborghini. Because that's what he is in the latest movie, which is just horrible.
Yeah. The year's not been kind to Transformers.
They did him dirty in that movie, man. They made him trying to act like he's French for some odd reason.
Year hasn't been
not even French.
Years haven't been kind to any of the franchises.
Yeah.
I thought True Bumblebee was good, Varian, and so was the Netflix thing this year.
Yeah, the Netflix thing was amazing. The voice acting was a little bit in points, but the actual the graphics of it was and storyline was great.
Cool.
I just don't. I did watch the Transformers series, and I'll tell you right now, the one on Netflix. I watched it. They should change the name of that series to Transformers 2020. I don't feel bad for them. We've gone the worst in real life. They got their ass kicked. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. Through the whole series, I'm like, when are they gonna win? When are they gonna have a good day? These seriously, if Autobot suicides had to be up, I would have been like, "Prime, I can't do this anymore. I'm deactivating this. We just keep taking loss after loss after loss. I'm done." I always knew they were the underdogs, but that Netflix series, you know what that Netflix series was? It was Transformers Roots.
Oh.
It was the Roots edition of Transformers. I want to know, did Alex Haley write that? Christ, everything, every time I can say this shit. It's my show. What you gonna do? Cancel me? I never seen.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I never seen.
There you go.
There. I never seen that. I felt bad. I wanted to stop watching because I just felt bad. Like they can't win.
Well, it's not like they're the Avengers, all 10 of them.
That was perfect timing.
And cut off his head. How's that heroic? 10 people decapitating a motherfucker.
No. Let's call it who it is. That was Thor, and Thor saw PTSD from it and went and got all fat.
They all held him. No one even said stop to Thor once. They were just like, eh.
Thor acted alone.
I feel like I'm in Jim Hanley's universe 15 years ago, walking in.
Welcome to Nerd Battle.
And yes, and the nerd fights happening in the corner.
Fight.
Yeah.
Nerd fight.
I can't. Now you're gonna. I can look at them trying to blame. I mean, they did. Now I will admit that the Avengers did jump him. They rode up to his house. I know what that was. They assaulted that man in his home. Like, where were the Nova Corp to stop that? You know, I mean, Justice, they could have busted in and helped that man. I mean, that was wrong. But nobody knew that Thor was going up there. You know, nobody else knew. Thor was the smartest man in the room. When he cut his head off, Thor, no. It wasn't Tony's fault. Tony wasn't even on planet. Cap, I never trusted him. And I think Captain America may have been in on it. Because notice, he didn't react. Even Rocket asked, "What did you do?" He didn't know. I watch a lot of Law and Order.
Yeah, like, no one even mentioned that they just killed a dude. Like, there wasn't any crime, no nothing. Everyone was just like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about this. We're just not. We're not."
He killed so many other people, so suddenly he's dead.
They came back.
Okay. He still came back.
Mad. Like,
they came back
now.
Yep. They got dusted. Thanos got his head chopped off. Thanos got killed twice in the same movie.
Yep.
This show has been brought to you by Cruising Film. Cruising is a 1980s American erotic crime thriller written and directed by William Franklin and starring Al Pacino and Paul Savinek. It is loosely based on the novel of the street name by New York Times Gerald Walker about a serial killer targeting gay men, particularly those men associated with the leather scene in the late 1970s. Varian, you send me the most wonderful stuff.
Well, that's the wiki to Cruising, which is also Hot Rod's first cinematic appearance.
Right, yeah, I know.
There's a truck that looks like Hot Rod right in the back. Optimus, whatever his name was.
Oh my goodness!
Optimus.
Joe McPhee laughs at your out-nerdedness.
That's what we should name the next show. Nerd War.
Oh my goodness!
Nerd War.
Yeah.
Optimus.
We should put a TM on that real fast.
Yeah.
Pull up with his little flames on his truck. Beep beep, get in, boys.
I thought our next show was going to be called. I thought our next show was going to be called Out of the Fuckery.
Out of the Fuckery. Well, now that Facebook is Facebook, But again, erotic crime thriller film. I've never heard that.
Right.
Before.
Which is now connected to the Transformers fandom
forever.
Because Varian noticed this detail in the background.
Kill me, sexy.
It was the flames that gave it away.
Kill me.
Wow.
It's like that Australian thing. The Australian thing where the woman with the orgasm kills you. So, I mean, let's be honest. If it was in reality, no one had ever died. Come on, no one.
Silence there. Silence.
Right.
Well,
we're still wondering what part we're stuck on.
Sean got that one, though. He was like, oh.
And we're called men from the land down under for a reason, mate.
Oh, well done.
Sean, I couldn't help but notice that you're wearing those murderers upon your brow.
Look
at. Oh, there he is. No, actually, that's the hero. That's the hero of the movie.
It's in memoriam. Yeah. So
that's the hero.
Varian has some weird politics when it comes to comics.
Hey,
Starscream was misunderstood woman who got beat by Megatron.
Purple lives matter. Okay. Only two in the organization, though. Thanos and Wesley Snipes. So that's it. The Wesley Snipes is purple. You guys can laugh. You guys can laugh. Meredith's like, nope, not me. I'm not going there. I personally, what was that last comment, Rob? You stuck a little jab in there. What was it? Oh, about Starscream. I thought Starscream was a woman. When I was a kid, I thought Starscream, because the name Starscream, the raspy voice, even though it was the same voice as Cobra Commander for some reason. And I think it was the little jet afterburners on the chest. They kind of reminded me of boobies. Like they were, they kind of stuck out. So I'm like, oh, Starscream is female. That's Megatron's girlfriend. And I took absolutely no issue when Megatron would hit Starscream and I Starscream to the ground. I'm like, bitch deserved it. She's always behind his back. I'm going to take over. And this is the idea I had of Starscream for years. I don't know why it never dawned on me they were saying he. Like in the show, Starscream, he needs. I never dawned on me. I just thought he was a girl. But interesting, in the French version, they call her a girl. They call him a girl.
No, they don't. It's voice acted by a woman. We looked into
but no. There's actually dialogue where they say she.
Yeah, but you're going to France for that? You know?
Yes. I go to France for my fries and everything else. Why not?
Come on.
Starscream is a woman.
I know you're trying to get those numbers for the radio. We love you in France, but come on, we know.
Starscream is a woman. Even the name Starscream. You listen. Okay, maybe Starscream isn't a woman. Maybe he's not. However, I think can we all admit that there's a relationship between Starscream and Megatron?
Yeah, actually, I'm with you on that. Believe it.
Yeah. The fanfic community agrees.
See, there's a relationship there somewhere. I don't
tuned.
usually agree with fan fiction, but somewhere.
Stay tuned to Indie Volt Radio. Upcoming soon, a Transformers program.
Yeah, I'm telling you, very.
In the meantime,
money. He's going to be put on as a director, and it's going to be about Starscream being the victim. It's going to be told. It's going to be like the Joker, but it's going to be Starscream, and he's going to be a girl. That's very amazing.
And meanwhile, I decided not to talk about furry porn because I thought it would be too weird this morning.
There we go. Good point, Daphne.
Clearly,
and now that Hasbro owns the GoBots, I'm turning them into the Hobots. It's going to have a whole planet by themselves. It's going to be awesome. Wait till I get a hold of that fandom. It's happening.
Robots. I just see it too, like they're in little dresses, like little shiny bottoms.
You better trademark that one too in a hurry.
I've got eight units of Energon. What would you do for it?
Somebody's out there capturing hobots.com as we speak, just because you mentioned it.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
I'm horrible. Oh my God.
What would you do for a can of oil, baby?
I see nothing but possibilities out of that idea.
Look, the Netflix show is already dark. I see no reason not to go there. Yeah. I see no reason not to go there.
Could see a Netflix series out of that.
Yeah.
I only came in for Indie Event, guys.
Please tell us about Indie Event. Please.
Meanwhile, yes.
I would love to know more about Indie Event.
Meredith has important stuff to push. Come on,
universe.
In
the same universe.
Really? Okay.
Somewhere on Earth. No, seriously, this weekend, August 29th and 30th, we've got Indie Event. You can go to INDEEVENT, and we have a schedule of events on Saturday. I will be uploading Sunday and start filling in those cell blocks. These are the areas where comics creators are going to be sitting with us. They're going to be pitching their books, and we are asking everybody who is participating to send in a QR code. That QR code is going to allow you, the viewer, to click on it with your phone or just visit their website and buy directly from them if there is a book that is of interest to you. Those QR codes can be directed to their Kickstarter, their Indiegogo, their Patreon page, their website, wherever it is that there's a URL. And that's really it. I dropped into like this Megatron, Transformers Wild Universe, and I just wanted to tell you about Indie Event.
Seen all of these online events popping up all around the place. I did one a few weekends ago that was based in Canberra, and it was really cool. We just got on, spoke like this to a bunch of people live, did our pitch as if we were at a convention, and saw a couple of sales come through, which is always cool. So it's great to see that you guys are doing that as well.
Yeah, this is actually through Geek Insider. I think this is our third one or our fourth one. I'm losing track because we're just hopping on the opportunity. And this one is a little bit different from the previous ones because we're really trying to focus on the selling aspect of it on Sunday. So, Sean, if you're available, we would love to have you just sit and chat with us, kind of like what we're doing here. I've got Daphne on.
Yes.
At 5 o'clock
Sunday.
Yes, we're doing a panel on women in comics, and actually I need to reach out to Lola and see if she's interested in that one. I've got Mog Park and Enes Eskander as well, so that's going to be really cool. It'd be really neat to have Lola with us as well. Marianne, go shake her up and tell her to put her face on Sunday.
Last time I shook her, the cops came. I can't do that. apparently the DA frowns upon that corrective behavior. Well, can't do that. Jail. I'm black. Don't shoot me. Anyway, man, I need to leave this shit alone in the morning.
I don't know. It's, as long as you don't get too obsessive, I think you're fine.
Joe D. McPhee says, so Starscream is a woman. Does that make the rest of the Secrets her Madam Horde with names like Skywarp, Thrust, and Thundercracker? It makes you wonder if Varian is reading too much in names and meanings. No, you're right. When I think about that, Thundercracker, Skywarp, Thrust,
names. I'm starting to go Team Varian on this one now.
That's a new Hobot.
Yeah.
I think they're the leaders of the Hobots.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you go to fanfiction.net.com or whatever or Archive of Our Own. There's probably an entire category of fan fiction on this very topic.
I'm going to give you 2 points that points out that them being women. Check this out. If you look at their design, besides the chest, look at the way their feet come down. It's in a heel fashion. No, everyone else is flat. Theirs look like heels. They can run. Only hoes can run in heels.
Oh okay? My goodness!
You ever seen go in a strip club? What's that? What?
There we go. You're about to get hit with that shoe, buddy.
You run in heels, but
someone's gonna go silent in a second.
Listen, okay. Let me rephrase that.
Gonna find out what else those heels come in handy.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me rephrase that.
Remember? Oh, I forgot the movie. Never mind. I'll remember it later.
I'll rephrase that.
Single white female. Remember how that movie ended?
Running heels. But you go to a club and they start shooting because then you got to run. But also, the other thing that I want you guys to notice is that okay. Have you ever been in an area like go down like where there's holes, okay? And just don't get one. Don't go to jail. Don't procure the services. Just park and just watch. When the cops run up, I don't know what they do. That they made like a little bird sound. They all take off. When the shit got tough for the Decepticons, who was the first one yelling retreat? Starscream, and all the other hoes that came out, and they took off. Retreat. She knew to get the hell out of there. They were Hobots, and they.
Anthony Figueroa has seen enough terror today. He's begging you to stop. So stop, Varian. Stop.
But Varian's got a point now. I want to hear more.
He's begging Randy, don't let him slip into the abyss.
But they used to grab Megatron too. They used to take Megatron like they'd taken the pimp who got beat up. Come on, man, it's okay. It's okay. We'll be back. We'll get that up.
And look how Megatron. Remember the movie when she threw him out the hat? She looked at him with that smile like, "I'm in charge." Nah, she wanted to be independent. That's all.
So remember, kids, this is why you take Oxycontin before you go to bed, not when you wake up.
And chase it with the local Monster drink. Absolutely, yeah.
Megatron was transporting robot ass all through the universe on a space bridge, and all she wanted was to be free. That's all.
Okay, buddy. Steve Fairby says sudden radio silence. What's our numbers?
I bet you they're more now. Right. Like an 80.
Well, that's only because we climb the farther, the longer we're on.
The minute you talk about Transformer
people start tuning into the nitwittery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another Transformer porn in the morning.
You see, now I question whether this is high quality nitwittery, though.
There you go. Good point.
Yeah.
I just got a message on my Facebook. I could read it to you, but I ain't. But a person agrees with me. They said the proof is in the name. So.
I never thought of it that way. Like I picked on him for a long time, and now I'm going to his side.
Jody McPhee says this has been a weird but funny episode, especially if Varian gets American made. Especially if Varian get American made edition from the Tick.
American made. Well, no, she was kind of hot, but
he's talking about your avatar, buddy. It's American made.
Well, it is. It looks like American made.
It's not Bale. Really. It's for his Liberty.
Yeah, it's Bale from Liberty, my new company that is the reason why I stepped down as editor-in-chief of IndieVolt.com, so I can focus on this, and it's been fun.
I thought you stepped down to focus on Transformer porn.
Yeah.
That's my side hustle. I'm not ready to announce that yet.
That's more of a passion project for
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
Well, that's coming to Pornhub next summer, 2021.
I have a feeling Last Call is going to be kicking out an underground comic here real soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. You'll see. You'll see.
Transformers After Dark.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the Matrix of leadership.
The dark side of Cybertron.
I do want to ask though, with IndieVent, Meredith, if someone says I want to be a part of that right now, is it too late to get in? We still have time?
There is still time on Sunday. We'll put you in a blog. Basically, you'll get about 15, 20 minutes. If the conversation goes a little bit longer, we can move you over to another StreamYard so that you can have a kind of a meet and greet. Not necessarily moderated, but it will be recorded just if there are transactions, just so that there isn't any funny business. And then, yeah, it's not too late. Basically, too late to send me a video so that I can do any kind of pre-recorded presentation or anything like that. But as long as I have a link to your Kickstarter or your crowdfund or your website, we can always direct people there. Send me a QR code. That literally takes less than a minute to do, less than 30 seconds.
Again, that's IndieVent. That's INDEEVENT.com.
Yep.
Indie finally spelled right.
And it's spelled right.
It's spelled right. Indie finally spelled right.
And the reason behind the 2 E's is actually on the website. If you go to the FAQ page, and there's a lot of information with the genesis story behind the IndieVent and the story behind the 2 E's. It's got the calendar of events, the schedule of events, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is something that is kind of hosted by Geek Insider, but it's shared out by several networks, including Indie Vault, Comic Book Advocates, Terraform Comics, Geek Insider, and then everybody who participates in the Saturday event. Basically, they're hosting their own show, very much like this. When it's on YouTube, we take their link, we add it to the permanent playlist that's going to be up there. That playlist has a URL which can be embedded on your website. It can be shared on social media and stuff, so that a lot of people can just share it out and enjoy the entire thing. And it's going to be there for the replay. So in addition, it's going to be up on several websites with your QR codes and stuff. So a lot of opportunity to cross promote and share out across multiple networks. It's really I'm surprised because we've been shilling this for several weeks, and there's always a last minute rush. But I will absolutely take the QR codes and your links, and just reach out to me, Meredith at geekinsider.com. Go to IndieVent, my website, my email address is there as well. And if we're connected on Facebook, you can also reach me on Facebook.
And Sean Keenan, thank you so much for being part of the Nitwittery this morning.
It was great,
for you
great up
late
until
in the
about
evening?
half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Learned a little bit too much about Transformers.
Yeah. I'm never going to look at it the same.
Yeah. We want to point out your upcoming Kickstarter campaign, XCT Infinity Issue #1. Any last minute pitch on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. So it's Australia's first crossover between a video game company and a independent comic book. So it's going to be a collectible mini-series, as well as at the end of each issue, it's going to have a choose-your-own adventure style. So you'll be able to actually vote on where the story goes, and we won't create the story until after those votes come in. So something a little bit different, something unique. So we're hoping to get that up to about 100 followers before we launch on the 18th of September.
Awesome. Daphne.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks for being part of the show today. Where can people find you?
Okay. If you're not into Transformers porn, but you prefer funny animal fantasy, if that's your thing, you can check out the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free at talltalesonline.com. And I also have a YouTube channel featuring art tutorials, demos, and live streams when I remember to do them at Daphne Lage Art.
And you also have a Kickstarter
Well, I have. Yes, it's like I. I guess with everything else we talked about, this is actually kind of mild.
I'm thinking the exact same thing. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So I do have. I'm starting a Kickstarter on September 1st, and it is for not erotic Transformers or artwork, but for erotic furry artwork. And let me put the link in the chat right here. If for some, if it's safe for you to put it up.
Yeah. Hold on. And I'm sure we'll be talking more about that as we go on, and we have you on the show. So.
Yeah. So I just put a link in the private chat. So.
Great. Great. And since we are about to go, we invite everybody to listen. We want to thank all of our listeners on indievolt.com. Indievolt.com is available just about anywhere that you see those internet radio apps, Streama, Google Play, a few other places, and always online. So that's indievolt.com. Anytime you want to listen to IndieVolt, whenever the nitwittery isn't happening, they're playing some great alternative music up on there. Also, IndieVolt has a TV channel where they play old movies or wrestling programs and sometimes videos from our podcast. So you can catch that on the Roku box under IndieVolt TV. We welcome your input anytime, comments about the show. And hey, we might be wrong. Maybe you absolutely want a show about Transformers porn. Let us know. Send that remark in at IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com, and please include IndieVolt Live in your subject line so that Varian can take a look at that, or better still, put Transformers porn in that subject line so Varian will know exactly what you're talking about. And please keep those emails to 90 words or less, if at all possible, and we will discuss it on the show. And remember, there's no topic that's too serious. There's no topic that's too silly, though we kind of covered a few things today that we don't have to ever cover again. And remember, your feedback will be better, or our feedback will be better because of your setback. Hashtag get an education. Hashtag IndieVolt.
More than meets the eye will never be heard the same way again after this.
Thank you.
Varian, any parting words? No, thank you very much. We're out of time. Rob, any parting words?
Just subscribe to IndieVolt on YouTube for those listening on the radio. See how silly we are. See the art that we show from the amazing guests that we have on. And make sure that you're a subscriber so you can get the content that we're putting out constantly.
I did want to say one thing. First of all, I can't believe you said meat in someone's eye. And also, if in fact when I do get that off the air, when I do get that off the ground, just imagine it. Starscream walks into the room. Prime's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, she's like, I've come here to see you." And he's like, "Okay." And then it happens.
Ladies and
good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
We also want to point out, thanks to everybody in the chat that was part of the program today. Thanks again so deeply to our listeners all around the world at indievolt.com. Thanks, Sean, so much for being a part of the program. I hope we haven't chased you off and that you come back again real soon.
I'm going to have some weird dreams. I swear to God, it's 1 a.m. here, and if I dream about Transformer porn when I go to bed.
The worst part is that Varian is our standards and practices person.
Yeah, so. we expect a full report on the on our upcoming Transformers program.
Oh boy!
And stay tuned for that. We want to point out that IndieVolt is here at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays for the regular Indie Volt podcast. We have the Geekgasm show that comes up. That's comics from a mostly female perspective on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. All of these times are Eastern Standard Times. The Breakfast Buzz will be back again at 9 a.m. hopefully. Here on Thursdays. Rob's show, The Devil's Advocate, comes up at 9 p.m. on Saturdays. And for a little bit more lighthearted fare, perhaps a little less realism, I do a Sunday Funnies program at Sunday morning at 9 a.m. now. That is a new addition to Indie Volt. We're hoping that you will tune in for all of that. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and listening. And we hope that you all stay safe and stay healthy, and that our friends down there on the southern coast fare well out of all of this. So anything else anybody wants to add? Rob loves everybody.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thanks so much for being on, Sean. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
We're going to go live with the news now.
Sweet dreams. We're going live with the news.
Yep. So don't go anywhere, radio audience. We're going to give you everything that's turning the pages in comics.
Yep. We are just going to switch over to there as soon as we are done here. Take care, everyone, and pleasant dreams.
Ciao.